What's up guys, I'm randomfrankp, and today we're going to be reviewing the Astro C40 TR modular controller. This is for both PS4 and the PC. Has some pretty cool tricks up its sleeve, but obviously with everything else there's pros and cons. So I've had it for a few weeks now, been testing it like crazy. I'll go through it all, talk about my experience in this review in case you're thinking of picking up this new Astro controller. So I'm not gonna lie, when I first got this in, I immediately took a few days off from filming and just played some games with this, because after all, that's how you test a controller. And I'm not one of those channels who just posts a review the day I get something in the mail without even fully testing it, just to claim they're the first to have their video published. Those channels suck. And when I first started gaming, I just went back and finished some games in my PS4 catalog, and since it's also compatible with your PC, played some games with that too. And everything for the most part has just been really great. It's a really unique controller. Inside the box, they include a carrying case to store this in, or protect your controller if you're bringing it with you on the go. And my first impression when I picked it up was, damn, this isn't light. It's 314 grams versus the 209 grams of the regular DualShock 4 controller. But weight shaming aside, I was also in awe of the controller's visuals. I think it definitely looks nice, feels nice to hold, even though it does kind of scream, gaming controller, but who cares? Also inside the carrying case are your accessories with the extra sets of swappable thumbsticks, their own screwdriver, and the wireless USB dongle. But to just quickly show how easy it is to customize this controller, because after all that's the main selling point, you can see it just takes seconds. The faceplate just lifts up and the D-pad and the joystick modules just pop out. Then you're left with the bare bones shell here. Each module connects to the controller via these 6 pogo pins, and on the bottom of the actual modules themselves are these kind of magnetic connections. So there's not even really a way of like snapping these in and out or locking them. You just set them in with that red mark facing down to align it properly, and that is literally it. So like I said, super simple. Then from there you can swap the joysticks from convex to concave, whichever you prefer, and there are 2 different height sets included. When you're done, you put the faceplate back on, tighten the screws, and you pretty much have a brand new layout. Again, that's the main selling point here, and it's just really unlike anything that's currently out on the market in terms of a controller. So if you like that traditional DualShock layout with the thumbsticks side by side, you can just leave it. Say you're more used to the Xbox controller design, also for me, which is I think more comfortable, you can do that. And even do something bizarre like this. Not recommended, but you can. Ergonomics, people. Change the controller to what suits you best. So now that that's all out of the way, let's take a look at the controller again and check out its physical features. As for the buttons and stuff, it's pretty much standard. You still have your menu or the share, the touchpad up top, your PS4 home button. On the backside though, you have the trigger hair locks for, again, stopping the triggers. This is so you can essentially get off shots quicker. You have a UR and a UL paddle on the back, a tiny physical remapping button in the middle. The handles have this kind of textured rubberized grip to them, which feels nice when you're holding it. On the top, you have your switch to toggle between the wireless or a wired mode. You could choose to use whichever you like. Your micro USB port for charging or using it wired, and then a profile 1 and 2 switcher here. And then on the bottom, it's a 3.5mm headphone jack for plugging in, headphones or a headset. So visually, nothing too crazy or out of the ordinary here. I do like the matte rubber texture the controller has. And one thing to note before we move on, those paddles on the back, the UR and UL, they can be remapped to any button besides the triggers, oddly enough. So you can't have this be L2 or R2. We'll get into the software stuff in a minute. And then connecting it to your PS4 or your PC is super simple. You just plug in the dongle and it should pair automatically. If not, you have to hold down the little white bar on the top of the dongle. That'll put it in pairing mode. And then you hold down the share and the start button on the PS4 and that'll put it in pairing mode. Then you should be good to go. Alright, so now before we get into this next part, you don't technically need the software, but if you want to do anything in terms of customization, you're going to have to download it. It's right on Astro's website, and it's pretty much like their controller reconfigurator, and it's pretty easy to navigate. Alright, so once you have the software booted up and the controller is plugged in, you have to make sure to turn the switch to the wired mode or else it will not be recognized. And then from there, you're met with their profile, either the 1 or 2, depending on which tab you have it on. And clicking View Profile will go in so you can start to remap everything, with the first tab here being that mapping. It's very easy to do. Say you want triangle to be R3, you click on it, pick whatever you want it to be, and extremely simple. And I mentioned before that the back UL and UR triggers cannot be changed to either R2 or L2, and that is the case as you can see. Even if you wanted to change, say, R2 to circle, that doesn't leave this as an open command. You can't then go in and change that to R2 Whether that's, intentional or they just didn't want to give you that competitive edge of having two separate trigger inputs, noteworthy, to say the least. Next, for sticks, this is how you can change the sensitivity of your thumbsticks. You can see I'm moving them around. Real time, it shows me the sensitivity and the direction I'm pointing them in. So if you want to, just change these out depending on what kind of game you're playing, you can see how it's going to be more, essentially, pressing it to the right to get it to that 100%. It just depends on what kind of game you need this in. And same thing for the triggers here. You can change the sensitivity of these. So as you can see, I'm pressing the right one all the way down, goes up immediately. And for the left one, I have the trigger lock on right now. So you can see when you press it down, it goes to around 40%. So you can go in there and adjust those depending on your need. Now for audio, you actually have a built-in EQ, which is pretty interesting. You don't typically see this built into a controller, and the audio actually sounds pretty damn good for a pass-through. You get to change the frequencies from 3 decibels all the way down to -6. You can kind of fine tune it depending on what kind of game you're playing or music and stuff like that. You have your mic out level adjustment, the side tone, and the volume adjustment for your actual controller, which is the volume that comes out of here. Some games do feature the dedicated controller audio. Now, while we're talking about audio, I have to bring this up. Whenever you're plugging something into the jack on the bottom, it makes this really annoying sound. Let me show you real quick. Yeah, that's definitely loud when you have this on your head. Very annoying and probably shouldn't be happening. And then lastly, for the effects, this is where you can go in and adjust the rumble sensitivity for the vibration in the paddles, as well as the LED brightness here. If you want to save some battery, I recommend keeping the brightness at like 50% and the vibrations between 60 and 70, so you can obviously still feel them, but not drain your battery at the same time. It says it's rated for around 12 hours. I found it to be pretty on par when in the wireless mode, but again, changing these down, lowering them, is only going to help improve your battery over time, so can't hurt. Now for my testing with this, I didn't play too many games on PC because not too many games can really utilize a controller, but the new Dirt Rally 2 just came out, and if you know anything about the Dirt Rally games, they require some serious discipline. That's why I really like them. So being able to take advantage of a controller like this, it was just a perfect fit for me to play that game. And the fact that I was able to remap the handbrake to that back paddle, it just felt a lot more natural to me. Being able to set, the sensitivity of the triggers and the thumbstick, so I'm not, driving too crazy and stuff like that and making all these drastic turns. Again, it was really nice, and I do feel like in this game at least, it gave me an advantage. And I think just going through and having used, the Xbox One Elite controller and the newer from, I guess, last summer now, almost, the Scuff Vantage, this is pretty much right on point with that stuff. This giving you the ability to, like I said before, swap out the configuration of how you like to have your controller. So if you're familiar with DualShock or the Xbox design, that's where this really starts to separate itself from the pack. And you take a look at the Scuff Vantage, like that was a really awesome controller, but for the PS4 lovers out there who are used to a DualShock layout, well, that was kind of inverted from what they were used to. That controller was also modular in the sense that you could swap out the face plates and do things like take out the rumbles and stuff, but we haven't really seen anything like this where we can just easily swap the configuration like we have on this C40. So bringing this all together, wrapping it up with the pros and cons, I mean, first and foremost, I said it 10 times, the customization here. Being able to configure the layout, maybe in the future they'll sell different sorts of modules for this. I don't really know what else you could do, but hey, it's a possibility. Different color faceplates, you get the idea. Another pro is the software. It just really makes it easy to switch everything up, and I love how in-depth it is in terms of, customizing the interface and stuff like that. Even down to like the audio EQs. And then the fact that it is wireless with just a dongle, very easy plug and play. And again, comparing it to the Scuff Vantage, that controller has been out for a long time, and only until recently was it able to be used wirelessly on your PC. This plug and play out of the box and it works flawlessly. Now getting into the cons, and I brought it up before when I was talking about the software, but the fact that you need to plug this in and use it in the wired mode for you to save any changes or to remap any of the buttons. Even though there's that, button on the back of the controller for you to still remap them, it's not going to go into effect until you plug it into the PC and the software recognizes that. So that's kind of annoying. Speaking of annoying, they also have to eliminate that audio distortion when you're plugging in headphones. And the last two cons that I can kind of group together here is the fact that this is $200, which is pricey, and it's also the same price as like the Scuff Vantage and stuff. But we're kind of getting to the end of the PS4 life cycle, so it's not gonna be, you're not gonna be able to use this that much longer on your PS4, unless it's gonna be like PS5 compatible. I know it's still, a ways away, but still wanted to bring that up. But also lumping along with the price is the fact that there's only a 6-month warranty with this. That is kind of alarming. Only 6 months? With a peripheral like a controller, something you're constantly handling with your hands, putting strength into, and you're getting, into the heat of the moment, you're getting all raged out and you're hitting the thumbsticks and stuff. The fact that it is modular and that you are constantly using this is kind of concerning, considering that if there is a peripheral that's gonna go wrong, you do often see that with controllers. So only a 6-month warranty doesn't really seem right to me. That should at least be a year. So you lump together the $200 price point with that 6-month warranty. Two major bugaboos on my end. But the controller as a whole is phenomenal. This is gonna be my go-to wireless controller for my PC playing Dirt Rally, and then I could just plug it into my PS4 and have a wireless controller there too. So really, really great stuff from Astro. I think they took the whole, controller game to the next level. You're starting to see a lot more modular products coming out now for your gaming peripherals and stuff. So I am all on board for a modular, customizable controller. Good stuff, Astro. Well, I guess it's Logitech now because they bought them out. Anyways, good stuff. Big thumbs up from me if you could shell out the money for the controller. And guys, that'll wrap it up for my review of the Astro C40 TR. Hope you enjoyed. If you want to check it out, I'll put a link for you in the description down below. If you like this review, give it a thumbs up to show your support. Feel free to follow me on Twitter at randomfrankp. And last, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Well, I'm Random Frank P. Hope you enjoyed. Have a good day.